Welcome to Community Church Unitarian Universalist. I am your worship associate, Emma Caverly, and it is a joy to be with you today. Community Church is a progressive, open-minded, and inclusive religious community. We welcome all who are on a spiritual search for truth and meaning. Ours is a faith in action as we do the work of social justice and elevate compassion in our quest to live ethically. Recognize the inherent worth and dignity of every being. Please look to your weekly email for announcements. This morning we do have one announcement from Deborah Salvador.
Good morning. I just wanted to clarify something in the announcements in the newsletter. We had scheduled a Together New Orleans town hall meeting for next Sunday, the 23rd, and then I was reminded that people would probably be more focused on cooking turkey and pecan pies next weekend than they would be on cooking up ideas for Together New Orleans. So we've moved it back to January 10th. But in their announcement, you might notice they had one place 23rd and then another one the 10th. It is the 10th. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I will be sending out an email, in particular to people who had signed up to come to September 18th, but anyone is invited. And I'll be giving some more information on what you might be thinking about or expect for that meeting over the next few weeks.
This morning, we are delighted to welcome back to our pulpit the Reverend Jane Mauldin. Reverend Jane graduated from Meadville Lombard, our Unitarian Universalist seminary in Chicago many years ago. In the following decades, she served UU congregations in Oregon, Nebraska, Alabama, and Louisiana. Jane was also at the hospital chaplain at Touro Infirmary for 12 years, retiring from that position 4 years ago. She was the founding minister of the North Shore UU congregation, and then returned to serve that congregation as their consulting minister for 7 years. She retired from the North Shore congregation a few years ago, which has freed up her time to enjoy her 3 children and 4 grandchildren, create mosaic art, and to dig and plant in her uptown butterfly garden. Jane is delighted to be back with us today. Welcome, Reverend Jane.
Good morning. It's November and we're having weather like this. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together.
It is our ritual to light a chalice, invoking hope and eternal truth to our worship. Please join us in singing the words of our chalice lighting. We light this flame. The words are printed in your order of service. We light this flame to affirm the light of truth and knowledge and the warmth of love and community and the fire of hope and commitment. And now Reverend Jane will bring us our time for all ages.
This is one of my favorite poems in the world. Of course, I could probably say that about at least a dozen poems, but this morning, this poem by Anne Sexton speaks, I hope, to each of us in some way. And after the poem, I'm going to invite you to consider, to think about, and perhaps, if you're willing, to share what brings you joy on maybe just a common day. What brings you joy in your life? Welcome morning. There is joy in all, in the hair I brush each morning, in the cannon towel newly washed that I rub my body with each morning, in the chapel of eggs I cook each morning, in the outcry from the kettle that heats my coffee each morning, in the spoon and the chair that cry, "Hello there, Anne," each morning, in the Godhead of the table that I set my silver plate, cup upon each morning. All this is God, right here in my pea greenhouse each morning. And I mean, though I often forget, to give thanks, to faint down by the kitchen table in a prayer of rejoicing as the holy birds at the kitchen window peck into their marriage of seeds. So while I think of it, let me paint a thank you on my palm for this God, this laughter of the morning, lest it go unspoken. The joy that isn't shared, I've heard, dies young. The joy that isn't shared, I've heard, dies young. And so I invite you to consider what brings you joy. For Anne, it was the kettle that heats her coffee and the birds at the bird feeder in the window and other small things that just for a moment spark that elusive joy that we love to experience. So for you, what brings you joy? Al.
It brings me joy every time I send off a piece of writing to my editor. I do one a week, and it's kind of a struggle sometimes to think of something to write about. But when I hit that key and it goes into the newsletter, it brings me a very great amount of joy, and I look forward to the next few days when I'll have those days off.
Thank you. Hi. Hi. Yes.
What brings me joy is seeing my mom once every week.
Yes. 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 Oh, yes.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I visit you all when I'm working here. What brings me joy is my spouse, Tim, jazz music, I'm in the right place, and my cats, Silky and Aquaman.
Oh, man. If cats named Silky and Aquaman didn't bring you joy, then there's something wrong with the world.
Music brings me joy. I got invited to a back porch concert Friday night with some delightful music from my era.
My dog Rue, who is, who knows, 12 or 13 years old, the way he looks at me when he wakes up in the morning is so sweet and just, yeah, it brings me great joy.
Yes. Yes.
My name is Gabriel Hardy. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, and what brings me great joy is to listen to a song. It could be blues, it could be jazz, it could be rock and roll. And I listen to a chord, and all of a sudden, I feel this chord resonate within the breast of everybody all over the world, and I'm happy.
Music. Music. Ah, yes.
Hi, I'm Jada. What brings me joy is my cat. She's always doing something, whether it's the zoomies or climbing a tree or something. She's hilarious and she brings me joy.
Another cat, Joy. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm also grateful. I'm a cat lover also, even though dogs have grown on me. What brings me joy is the relationship with my partner of 23 years. And during these hard times that we've been going through, I am grateful for a home, for food, for my job, grateful to be alive and well and safe.
Joy comes in many packages. For all these, spoken and unspoken, we are so grateful that these moments, these critters, this music, these relationships are in our lives. We are grateful for the joy every day. Now, what's up? And now let us sing for the children of the world together. Go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of life surround you everywhere you may. The first reading is by the Reverend Richard Gilbert. It's entitled To Savor the World or Save It. I rise in the morning torn between the desire to save the world or to savor it, to serve life or to enjoy it, to savor the sweet taste of my own joy or to share the bitter cup of my neighbor, to celebrate life with exuberant step or to struggle for the life of the heavy laden. What am I going to do when the guilt at my bounty clouds the sky of my vision? When the glow which lights my everyday illumines the hurting world around me? To savor the world or to save it? God of justice, if such there be, take from me the burden of my question. Let me praise my plenitude without limit. Let me cast from my eyes all troubled folk. No, you will not let me be. You will not stop my ears to the cries of the hurt and the hungry. You will not close my eyes to the sight of the afflicted. What is that you say? To save, one must serve. To savor, one must save. The one will not stand without the other. Forgive me in my preoccupation with myself, in my concern for my own life. I had forgotten. Forgive me, God of justice. Forgive me and make me whole. Thus ends the reading.
Now is our sacred time of joys and sorrows. If you are online, you may write your joys and sorrows in the comment section to be read aloud. In person, you may write them on one of the cards being passed out by our greeters. Please remain seated as we sing our hymn, Hymn 100, I've Got Peace Like a River. That's hymn 100 in the gray hymnal. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. We have a joy from Sean. I had a wonderful visit last weekend with my niece and nephew in Orlando. That's lovely. We have a joy from Abigail. My joys are that life has been going well and that I'm baking cookies for my peers in a show we're doing. It's wonderful. And then a sorrow for the people, especially immigrants who are suffering. A joy from Jim. A joy that Calvin Duncan, the jailhouse lawyer, freed from unjust conviction, was elected clerk of court. From Alan, we have a joy. A new niece named Charlotte was born on Friday. Congratulations. And a sorrow as well. An old flying buddy, Steve Napper, died on Wednesday. And from Cynthia, I found a home for Baby, the pit bull under my house. She finally let me touch her. All she wanted was a hug and a scratch, and I gave her both. We will light 2 more candles, one for the joys still bubbling up, too new to share, and one for the sorrows that we cannot yet put into words. Know that we hold you in our hearts. And now, let us pause for a moment of silence, recognizing the joys and sorrows of those in our community, spoken and unspoken.
The second reading before this sermon is by Barbara A. Holmes, and she entitled it, Joy Unspeakable, Black Joy. Joy unspeakable is not silent. It moans, hums, and bends to the rhythm of a dancing universe. For our free African ancestors, joy unspeakable is drum talk. For enslaved Africans during the Middle Passage, joy unspeakable is the surprise of living one more day. For Africans in bondage in the Americas, joy unspeakable is the moment of mystical encounter when God tiptoes into the hush arbor. Joy unspeakable is humming How I Got Over after swimming safely to the other shore of a swollen Ohio River when you know that you can't swim. Thus ends the reading. Many Sunday mornings when I am with you, I ask that we begin our services together by singing energetically and defiantly, Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. To me, it is defiance. It is claiming our joy, even in the hardest times. But how do we get that joyful spirit when we need it? When we are feeling melancholy or lonely, or just need to be reminded that life is good, at least occasionally. Some of us find joy, as the author of the morning hymn did, by opening our ears and hearts to the music and life all around us. Others among us find joy through walks in the woods, or cuddling up with our cat or dog, or at the beach, or with a beloved family member. Others find joy especially with those we love. No matter how it comes to me, joy is something I often hunger for, and when I'm experiencing it, most everything else feels unimportant, at least for a moment. However, as much as we love experiencing it, we can't force joy. There is no simple recipe to ensure that it happens. And sometimes it seems so far away. Even as we sing Enter, Rejoice, I know that many of us are in the throes of illness, grief, hard times. We are alarmed and frightened about global warming, attacks on immigrants, women, and transgender persons, a political system that too often leans where the money wants it to go. Or we're just tired, burned out, living in a gray fog. Sometimes moments of joy feel all too fleeting or elusive. But they do happen when we least expect them. Like a hummingbird darting across the yard, joy leaps and is gone. Holding on to joy, keeping it burning within us, even after its first fiery moment, that is the question this morning. Where does joy come from? And when it comes, how do we keep it thriving, flourishing within our lives, even during, especially during such hard times as the ones we are living in right now? Several years ago, I heard my dear friend, the Reverend Pete Peterson, speak of joy. He called it the creative human response to our world. It's a steady, abiding joy, he said, not of sudden dramatic ecstasy. It's simply the result of our awareness of relationship to all that is. Awareness. That awareness of my relationship to all that is often comes to me when I'm under the trees, looking up at the blue sky or the evening stars. However, as a city dweller these days, views of the northern lights, did any of you all see any speck of northern lights? At least one, well, you're from farther up north, girl, right? You saw it up there? Well, someone among us saw the northern lights, or seeing star constellations. That too, normally in the city, eludes me. However, several years ago, I was on a meditation retreat in southwestern Colorado, far from any city or town. It was the monthly time of the dark of the moon. I left the campfire where my meditation group had ended the evening and walked back through the tall prairie grass. If you've ever done that, imagine the crickets, the insects, the night sounds. Down toward my dorm as these thousands of insects sang their night songs. Then I happened to look up above me. Above and all around me, the Milky Way was clear and bright, a pathway of stars, lights spreading across the darkness from horizon to horizon. Have any of y'all ever been like way out in the country somewhere and seen that? Montana. Yes, it literally goes from horizon to horizon. I felt very small that night, yet part of something immense and intensely meaningful, which filled me with quiet, astounding joy. It was starlight that led me safely on my way. It is true that we are one with the stars. I recently learned that nothing could exist larger than the tiniest subatomic particles were it not for the residue of exploding stars. Stars gathered and exploded, and many amazing things were created. Hydrogen and larger molecules, heavy metals, moons, trees, and us. We are truly, literally made of the same stuff as the stars. I felt this oneness with the stars in the Colorado hills and have again many times since. Perhaps you too have felt the quiet, reassuring joy that nature can bring. The Reverend Marnie Harmony surely did when she wrote this, slightly adapted. If on a starlit night, with the moon brightly shimmering, we stay inside and do not venture out, the evening universe remains a part of life we shall not know. If on a cloudy day with grayness infusing all and rain dancing rivers in the grass, we stay inside and do not venture out, the stormy, threatening energy of the universe remains a part of life we shall not know. If on a frosty morning, dreading the chilly air before the sunrise, we stay inside and do not venture out, the awesome, cold, quiet, and stillness of the dawn universe remains a part of life we shall not know. If throughout these grace-given days of ours, surrounded as we are by green life and brown death, hot pink joy and cold gray pain, and miracles, always miracles, if we stay inside ourselves and do not venture out, then the fullness of the universe shall be unknown to us, and our locked hearts shall never feel the rush of joy. The rush of joy. Nevertheless, we are not all nature mystics. Some of us more often experience joy in other ways. One common to many of us is the experience of joy through our relationships with other people. When I carry my toddler grandson to bed at night, his little body tucked into mine, feeling his soft head against my shoulder, and then I lay him down in his bed, smoothing his hair as he settles, well, I hope he settles, into sweet sleep, especially after he settles into sweet sleep, I feel such joy. When I come into this sanctuary now on a Sunday morning, sometimes feeling a bit anxious as a visiting minister about the logistics of our service, and then I see Nicholas grinning, and I get a big hug from Carol, and a twinkling eye from Jim, and a chuckle from Liz, and a quiet nod from Joel. I feel such joy. When I think of the lovely people I have known in my life, I could never be as pessimistic as Archie Bunker of that old TV show, All in the Family, who got tired of his wife Edith's goodness and sarcastically said, "That's you, all right, Edith the good. You'll stoop to anything to be good. You never yell, you never swear, you never make nobody mad. You think it's easy living with a saint? Even when you cheat, you don't cheat to win, you cheat to lose. Edith, you ain't human." And Edith says, "That's a terrible thing to say, Archie Bunker. I am just as human as you are." And Archie retorts, "Oh yeah? Then prove you're just as human as me. Do something rotten." Rotten people, like the character of Archie Bunker, are certainly out there. You watch the news, you read the paper, you scroll through Instagram and Facebook and shake your head at the stupidity and arrogance and duplicity of so many. Sometimes rotten people have power in our lives. Rotten people, hurricanes, and death. And in the face of all that, joy, like Pete Peterson says, joy is our creative human response to all of life as we dig down into, experience all that is, and still say, yes, by golly, yes. Richard Gilbert said something very similar in the earlier reading. To save, one must serve. To savor, one must save. For Gilbert, our joy is deeply connected to truly living in this world with all of its warts and pain, living with and for others, serving others. God of justice, he says, God of justice, make me whole. Barbara Holmes, in her poem shared earlier, spoke of how, despite experiencing horrific oppression, joy can also arise in us when we realize we got over, we are safe. This moment, we claim joy right now. No matter how we experience joy in nature, with other people, perhaps with a piece of music or in quiet meditation, in a celebration of liberation, or in living fully in this world, working for justice and reconciliation, joy is something that is our human birthright and is worthy of our time and full welcome. We are worthy. We are worthy of joy. And I also believe, and this is the most important part of my message this morning, joy is meant to be shared. It grows when we share it. It lives longer when we share it. As Mark Twain said, grief can take care of itself. But to get the full value of a joy, you must have somebody to divide it with. He did have a way with words, didn't he? We need community around us, not only when we are in sorrow and pain, but also in our joy. Poet Anne Sexton, as I shared earlier, concluded, the joy that isn't shared, I've heard, dies young. She's right. Sharing with those we love expands the feeling of joy within us. Whether we experience that joy in nature, in human relationships, or any other way, sharing it with someone or some critter keeps it bubbling and effervescing so that we can call upon it time and time again. This is what church is about. And one reason this church is so important to me. A few years ago, several of the magazines I subscribed to had articles exploring what the Woodstock Festival experience had been for the people who had been there 50 years ago. Anybody here go to Woodstock? Sometimes in a UU congregation, there's an elder who goes, yeah, I was there. And they all go, oh. Well, these articles exploring their recollections of that, in those articles, many of the participants felt a shared joy within that community of spirit, which they have never forgotten. 400,000 people with love beads and bell-bottom jeans gathered together in the nation of Woodstock for 4 days, and the experience profoundly and permanently affected many of their lives. The nation of Unitarian Universalism claims not 400,000, but less than half of that, or a little more, about 210,000 inhabitants. Yet this association has had far more effect on my life than any 4-day festival ever could. In my continental-wide UU community, and in its various tribes, General Assembly, our Southern District, our Greater New Orleans UU gatherings, and in a number of churches, I have faced sorrow and shared joy for many years, and I have rarely been disappointed by the nurturing I have received. The Reverend Rosemary Bray McNatt has written, by no means are we Unitarian Universalists perfect. We often fail as much as we succeed. Yet even when, quoting Rumi, we have broken our vows 1,000 times, we return to the essential work of liberation and justice for all. We do the work best when we remember what church is and what it is not. Church is not a place to hide. It is not the place to get away from the world. It is not a place where we get to pretend that the lives we live and our particular situations are not terribly complex, often confusing, and sometimes depressing. Church is the place where we stand with one another, look the world in the eye, attempt to see clearly, and gather strength to face what we see with courage and, yes, with joy. Reverend McNatt. Theologian Scott Peck has written, "When I am with a group of human beings, committed to hanging in there through both the agony and joy of community, I have a dim sense that I am participating in a phenomenon for which there is only one word. I almost hesitate to use it. The word is glory. 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 What we are about in this congregation, in this small community, what we are about is glory. Our congregation is part of the Unitarian Universalist nation, a nation in which we strive to create a world in which every person who comes, open and of good heart, will be welcomed for who they are, welcomed, embraced, and offered companionship through the sorrows and the joys of their lives. Our joy comes from nature. Our joy comes from music. Our joy comes from other people. Our joy comes from serving and doing the work of justice and peacemaking. And through it all, our joy, which isn't shared, dies young. We in this church must be, in the words of the Reverend Patrick O'Neill, gorillas for community. Gorillas for community. We gather here for glory. We gather here for joy. We gather for no less than the salvation of the world. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Amen.
Thank you for that, Reverend Jane. Community Church Unitarian Universalist is a self-sustaining congregation. Members and friends' generosity help us do the sacred work of bringing justice, spirituality, and compassion to our community and beyond. You can give online, by text, or in person this morning. See the information on the back of your order of service for giving by text. Please remain seated as we sing our hymn number 348, Guide My Feet. That's hymn 348. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide
Please join me in the unison affirmation, which is on that little salmon-colored piece of paper in your order of service. Together, all that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create, a deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. The closing hymn is number 346. Please come sing a song with me. Please stand in body or spirit as you are able. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. That I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love, rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rest in the winter time. Come share rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Please remain standing for the benediction and extinguishing the chalice. And following the service, you're invited to join us for coffee and refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall. The benediction is by the Reverend Darcy Roque, a former minister of this church, by the way, now doing her PhD work on reproductive justice. There is too much hardship in this world to not find joy every day. There's too much injustice in this world to not right the balance every day. There's too much pain in this world to not heal every day. Each of us ministers to a weary world. Let us go forth now and do that which calls us to make this world more loving, more compassionate, and more filled with the grace of divine presence every day. Shalom, salam, amen. And together we extinguish the chalice by saying, we extinguish the chalice here, that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again.